Hello, Aries. Welcome to your weekly reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Empress energy. This is very good. This, I feel like you're somebody that wants... You want life to sort of grow organically, right? You don't like things that are kind of forced. You don't like things that are chosen for you, right? The card that fell out while I was shuffling just happens to be the hierophant. And now we have this juxtaposition between the two. I feel like there's a life that you want, and then there's a life that is sort of being offered to us, perhaps by the world, by culture, by society, by family. This could be an offer that's on the table that you really, it's tempting. I think it's sort of, it would maybe be easier. It would maybe be the more comfortable path. But I think that you're looking to do something that is different. I think you're somebody that likes to go against the grain, if it means that it's going to be more satisfying to you. I don't think you go against the grain just for the sake of rebellion. I think you go against the grain when it's going to be a more expressive or more authentic representation of yourself. I think there is also a teacher in your life that was very important to you. They may still be in your life. This particular person who was a teacher for you may be an older female energy. Could be a mom, a grandma. But it was somebody that I think really sort of taught you to think for yourself, taught you how to listen to your own spirit, and pursue those things in life that really matter to you. Okay? And I think with these two cards, now obviously we're going to need some context here. Okay? These are two major arcana energies, Empress and the hierophant. I do feel as if you are trying to take responsibility for your life and you are trying to build the life that you want. It may have something to do with healthcare. It may have to do with healing others. I do kind of get this feeling that you're like a natural healer. And then if we look at this card in that sort of context, it's kind of like, do we need the formal structure around our natural abilities? It's kind of like this is the talent and this is the skill that can go with it in order to really make something flourish. Okay, so let's put some context around these two cards and see kind of where your life is going right now. See what the next week is going to be like for you. Next card is a Princess of Wands. So we've got an 8 of Pentacles, an 8 of Wands, a 9 of Swords, and one of your superpower cards. That is an Aries energy. It is a cardinal fire. It's the Knight of Wands. Okay. And if there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Let's finish up putting our cards on the table here. We have the Eon, 7 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups, and a Queen of Pentacles. I like that we have a Knight and a Queen. We're sort of looking forward at the future, and we are reflecting upon the past. Okay. We're going to select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. That's going to go right down here with, no, not Bubo. Bubo goes to the end of the line, and it is time for our big red ant to be the guardian of the mystery card. We'll scooch everybody over. Okay, now we're not going to look at this card until the end, all right? But it's going to tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need. If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments down below. Let's take a look around the room quickly. Here we have 1, 2, 3 major arcana energies. I feel like through the right kind of training, the right kind of education or skill, you can take your talent really to the next level. You can take whatever it is that you are naturally good at, right? And I think that's what's going on right now for you. You're trying to take what you know you are good at. I think you know who you are. You know what you're capable of, right? Whether this is some sort of a healing energy or whatever it might be, and maybe this is art, right? You know what your natural talent is. You know what you are very, very good at. I think adding in a little bit of that hierophant energy, not too much, but just enough to where you can refine and hone your skills that can fully take advantage of that talent, I think you're going to level up your life. This is a divine doorway to the future, and I think this is going to change your future, okay? I think that's what our major arcana are suggesting. I think that this is your fate, okay? Going through this doorway is going to have challenges, but it's going to have immense rewards. Of course, we have fire, fire, fire. In this straight horizontal line, we've got all of this fire energy, which really shows that you are you're motivated. It shows that you are you're really amped up, really fired up about this, especially because in the past we have this Eight of Wands, right? Which is kind of showing that you've always had a lot of ambition. You've always had a lot of this fiery energy. But for the longest time, it feels like we didn't really know where to put it. We didn't really know what to do. I feel like you kind of have this idea now. You know what you want to do. You know what the love is in your heart. You know what your talent is. You know what you're put on this earth to do. And now it's just a matter of pursuing the right kind of training or education or the right kind of learning process that's going to get you into that field, right? That's going to allow you to do it in this kind of major life-changing way. Okay. So the Eight of Wands back here sort of represents that period of time where we were just sort of experimenting with different things. We were being creative. We were trying a lot of different media. Okay, how to express ourselves, express our talent. I think you found something that is really feels like the way, right? And I think in this case, the Hierophant is sort of an ally right now. Okay, and the Hierophant is one of those cards where we don't always like it, but sometimes we need to form an alliance with it. And I think in this case, the Hierophant is really your ally because it's allowing you to sort of mature and hone your skills and your talents here, especially as we go from a Princess of Wands to a Knight of Wands. It's going all the way from the bottom to the top. Okay, it's kind of like the Princess of Wands is sort of starting from the beginning. It's kind of saying, I'm going in as a white belt. I'm going in as a beginner. And the Hierophant is going to show us how to do something the right way, show us the skills and the techniques that we need. It could be that you're just an amazing, you have an amazing voice, or you have an amazing talent for the piano, or painting, or business, or anything, crafts, whatever it might be, right? Healing, or even we could say, sort of doctoring, nursing, the healing kind of arts, right? You have this natural talent, but we're going into this Hierophant situation with this idea of, okay, I'm here to learn. I'm a beginner, I'm a white belt, I'm ready to learn the basics and the fundamentals. You're not going in with this ego that says, hey, I'm already the best. There's nothing you can teach me, right? So I feel like whatever you're embarking on, whatever this path is, you're entering into this in the right way, And I like to say it's kind of like we're going back to white belt. We're going in as a beginner and saying, teach me the right way to do things. And this beginner kind of energy is emerging on the other side as really the expert, right? This fire energy has gone from the Princess all the way up to the Knight. And if we think of the Princess as the page, right? Page of Wands and in other tarot packs, it's the squire, it's the knight in training. Well, then here is the Knight, right? So we're going into this as a squire, essentially, right? And we're emerging from it as a full-on knight. And I think this really shows the progression and the right attitude that you have to do this. We have also the water energy. We've got the air, which is going to be challenging, right? And then we've got our earth energy in some really important places. because especially with the Queen of Pentacles at the end, I think the next few days are going to be just absolutely critical for you. Okay, because that's when you're going to have to really commit to this thing, enter into this new school. Maybe it's a school of life. Maybe it's really a technical school, a trade school, a university, or just a training program, or just on your own, an independent learning sort of experience. Maybe you're just going to use YouTube and the internet and you're going to figure things out, right? Maybe you're, teaching yourself in that way, but still going into it as I'm totally green, white belt, I'm a novice, I'm a beginner, and I'm gonna build things up in the right way. You've got this attitude about you of really doing things in an organic way. Like I said at the beginning, you don't want something that's already sort of, and this I think is where we get a little bit of our contention in the reading because of that hierophant, where it's just kind of like someone's teaching you the way to do something, and we don't like that. We rebel against anything or anyone that's telling us this is the way to do it. And in other words, this is the only way. And I think sometimes we have to allow the roots to really be strong. We have to formulate the fundamental skills. We have to exercise those skills and really build something up using a really good foundation. And then we can sort of grow and we can branch out and we can experiment and we can really... See, we have 2 8s here, so the 8 of Wands here is sort of branching out, right? But nothing solid. This is energy that branches out. But now you're overlaying this actual physical structure, which is saying that you're branching out, and those branches are strong branches too, because you're doing the foundational stuff, the roots first, and the strong trunk, and now the branches can grow and bear a lot of fruit. Okay. So you're doing things in the right way, whereas with the 8 of Wands, I feel like we had this sort of impulsive interest in different things, but we didn't really work on the core skills, the fundamentals. We didn't build that up in the right way, but you're doing that now. Even though we don't really like the hierophant, we know that it needs to be our ally right now. We have to immerse ourselves in this and really, really sort of do things the right way in a sort of, in an organic sort of way, so that this can be a lasting thing, that this can actually really stick this time, And I think that it's going to allow you to have this foundation. It's just like a musician that has to learn the technique, has to learn the chords and the scales and all this kind of thing. And once we learn all of that, once we're really taught and we learn and we absorb and we incorporate all of that and make it a part of us, then you can be as creative as you want, right? Then you can branch out and you can experiment and you can really just really do this, the bending of the rules and the bending of the genres, and it's going to mean something. I could go in and hit a bunch of random keys on the piano, but I may be breaking most of the rules, if not all of the rules, but it doesn't mean that I'm an artist or that I'm being creative, right? It's me maybe trying to be creative, but without knowing the fundamentals of how the chords work and how the keys work and where to put my fingers and what each of the keys actually do, without having that muscle memory too, I can't really express my creativity in a very coherent way. All right, it's just chaos. I am creating, but it's chaos, rather than taking that creative chaos and giving it just enough structure that it can really bear fruit and it can really be something, something magical, right? So I kind of see with the 8 and the 9 up here with that 9 of Wands at the top, 9 of Swords, that we are, we don't like this period of training, of learning, of sort of building those foundational things. Everybody wants to just go in and I want to go in, I want to start hitting home runs. I want to enter the jiu-jitsu studio and just right away start dominating people. No, first you got to learn the drills. First you got to learn how to move your body. You got to get those fundamental mechanics sort of figured out, right? And I think the 9 of Swords in this way is a little bit of that despair where we just feel as if it's sort of the hierophant is sort of ruins creativity, And so we kind of have the juxtaposition here with these two and then with these two. It's like having to sit through the classroom, the educational, the learning portion of things is terrible. I just want to go out and do the thing, you know. So we have to sort of suffer and endure that if we're going to really build something and have this opportunity to make it really a living part of our lives and not just something ephemeral, not something that's fleeting or that dissipates or that fizzles out, right? We're trying to learn and we're trying to build ourselves up from the squire to the knight. And I think the Nine of Swords, you know, is kind of the, I don't know, I've always enjoyed school, but I always felt like being in the classroom was kind of torture, you know, for my own reasons. But I never liked being in the classroom, although I really love learning. I think it's just there's the social aspect of it, or just there's something else about it that I don't like. And maybe it's really just kind of sitting there being lectured about things, and it's just like it's not engaging me. You know what I mean? It doesn't really make me feel anything, you know, unless you get that really good teacher, which I think you have had a teacher like this, that's very animated, very fired up, that really loves the subject and then just cannot wait to share it with you. And that sort of, I think, brings out that student in all of us where we're just like, yes, I can't wait, give me more of this, you know. And in that way, we're all like kids. We're all children, you know. Because I have a 4-year-old, and if you just try to sit there and tell her something, you know, explain something to her, she's not going to enjoy it. She's going to lose interest. She's going to just say, I don't care. But if it's a game, if it's engaging, if it is fun, you know, then she'll absorb it like a sponge. Then she wants to do it more and more and more and more. Like we're teaching her how to do math, you know, like just simple addition and things. And we turn it into a game, you know, where we have her little figurine, little characters, you know, and we're having a little scenario where there's this teacher and there's these other kids that the teacher's trying to teach them, and we laugh, and it's silly, and it's, you know, but then she starts getting it, and she's really engaged. She says, let's do it again. Okay, and then we had to reset, and we do the whole thing over again. Otherwise, yeah, that sort of structured learning thing can be kind of torturous for us. And I think that you've experienced with both sides of that. But I do think that there's someone in your life who is a teacher or is that kind of inspiring or charismatic person that that sort of has motivated you to want to learn. Okay? And so I think it's going to be challenging for you, but I think it really is something that you're applying yourself to. Maybe this is literally you're going back to school. Maybe you're immersing yourself in this new learning process because you want to hone this talent that you have and you want to do something major with it, right? That's going to take us over to the path of the serpent. This is a leveling up. The Eon card is a doorway to the future. And I think you're ready. It's like you're ready to take this thing from just being amateur to professional, from squire to full-on knight, right? If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. Smash the like button, subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I appreciate that. So the divine doorway to the future, this is a decision that you have to make, and it's kind of like, are we ready to put in the work to go from squire to knight, to go from white belt to black belt? Are we ready to go from beginner to expert? You know, are we ready? And if we are, we step through this doorway, the first thing we encounter is we get our butts kicked, right? 7 of Pentacles. We get our butts handed to us. And it's failure. We're gonna put in all of this work. We're going to the commitment that it takes, right, it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of work. And if we're not ready for it, then, okay, we stay on the other side of the door. We just keep doing what we're doing. But if we're really serious about taking this to that next level and making it our lives, we've got to be ready to fail, to try and to fall down, to have difficulties, obstacles, challenges, puzzles to figure out. And that's exactly what we see in the environment for you right now, is a lot of things that we got to figure out. Because if it's so easy that you never get a Seven of Pentacles, are you really doing anything that significant? You know, if you're not pushing yourself and challenging yourself, if the situation does not stop you in your tracks once in a while and give you a problem to solve, there's no growth there, right? So you've got these two cards in very important positions because you're ready for that growth. You're geared toward the growth, and you know that if you're going to have the growth of the 8, you need to have the problems, really, or the failures or the challenges of the 7 of Pentacles. And that is in your environment. You're putting yourself into a situation where you are not going to win every time. If you win every time, you're never growing, you're never learning, right? Because the wins are fun. We like the wins, right? But that's not where the growth takes place. The growth takes place when we have challenges and we're trying very hard to figure something out. And then, of course, we solve the problem, we get to the win, and that really does feel good, right? But if it's just so easy, then there's no challenge and there's no stimuli, there's no growth, okay? So the first thing you encounter is, of course, getting your butt kicked. The material is difficult. There are challenges. You know, there's a lot you don't know. And as long as we're going into this with the attitude of the squire or of the novice or of the white belt, then we're gonna learn. We're going to be presented with many, many challenges, and we have that right attitude that says, okay, this is my first challenge here. I'm going to figure this thing out. How to move my body, maybe it's just really about how to settle down and actually do the work. How to settle down and actually study. How am I going to arrange my life to where I can have an hour or two every day where I can just focus on these studies and read the books and go through the materials, right? That may be the first challenge. And that's already, as soon as we walk through the door, we're confronted with an obstacle. How am I going to even settle down to do the learning part of things, you know? And then we start to figure that out. We invoke our magician. Maybe the mystery card is the magician, right? We invoke our magician. We begin to arrange our circumstances as optimally as possible, and then we adapt to what's there now. We try to optimize the external, and then we change up the internal so that it can be in harmony and there can be a flow between inside, outside, between above and below, right? Like that magician energy that I always talk about. That's the goal of the work, is to become the very best magician that we can be. And if it is your will to take this talent to the next level in your life, this is the way we do it. Now, of course, the difficult card is going to be that 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups, I mean, that's happiness, right? That is a lot different than our 9 of Swords. In some ways, I think it's a reminder that we're never going to be content with anything. Life is not a static thing. And that's why the 9s of the tarot really honestly are my favorite cards. I love the 9s because they're kind of showing us that life is not a finished state. It's not just, okay, you're gonna succeed at this thing, you're gonna get your degree, you're gonna get your knighthood, and that's it. That's gonna be life in this pretty little package, and you're just gonna be in there like you're inside of a snow globe. And that's it. No, life is constant change. Life is always in flux. There will always be a challenge. There will always be something new to do. There will always be a motivation or an inspiration to exceed or to change or to expand in different ways. The static energy goes against nature, and therefore it cannot stand, right? So the 9s represent they're odd numbers. They represent the function, the flow of life. It's a way that we're living. It's our approach to the way we do things. It's not the static, what we're doing, it just inside of this little snow globe, you know, that we're looking to always expand and grow, and things are always going to change. So with our 9 of Cups in the position of the obstacle, it's a reminder that there isn't really some finished state of things. Now, maybe you'll get your knighthood, but then what's the knight going to go off and do? that's part of our Knight of Wands here, looking into the future and thinking, okay, once you graduate, then what? Okay. And of course, our Nine of Cups and the Nine of Swords is reminding us that we're never going to be satisfied with a finished state, a finished, polished product of life. We're going to have to always be looking into the future and pushing forward and trying new things and doing new things. And yes, we can slow down sometimes. We've got to slow down and enjoy the journey. But there's always going to be more that you want to do. You know, we're never going to run out of this ambition or this inspiration to keep branching out, right? And so I don't feel that the Nine of Swords is all that severe right now, but I do think that it is, it's a little bit of this sort of critical nature that you have. I feel like you could be quite critical of yourself sometimes, and maybe you got to lay off of that a little bit. But I think that keeps you motivated, especially when we're sort of doing the heart and the mind this way. It's kind of like you want to be happy, you want to be satisfied, you want to feel as if your life is full to the brim, but then you're also going to criticize that and say, no, there's more that I can do. You know, the Nine of Swords is going to sort of pick that happiness apart and say, okay, I'm pretty happy, but I can do something else. I want to do more activities. I want to find more challenges. I want to find more puzzles. I want to learn more things. Maybe then we're going to take our career or our learning. Apologize for my voice too, by the way. And we're going to expand on it. We're going to take another class. We're going to put ourselves in that hierophant, in that hierophant alliance once again, and expand even further. Okay. Now the Queen of Pentacles at the end is looking back on all of this and really thinking that all this, is worth it. All the difficulties, all the challenges are worth it. Because that Nine of Cups, I mean, it is there, right? But it's something that we don't want to get too comfortable in. But we're going to experience happiness. This is a path that's going to lead to your fulfillment, but it's not a path that has a final destination. Okay? But every once in a while, we have to sort of check in with where we are and what we've been through to really appreciate it. Without that sort of happiness, without that satisfaction, there's going to be no reason to keep going, you know? And so the Queen, every once in a while, kind of looks back and says, dang, I did that. That feels good, you know? And look where I am now, and look how far up the mountain I've climbed already, right? And then, of course, the Knight is then turning toward the future and thinking, look how much more mountain I get to climb now, you know? And so the past is sort of reinforcing the present and motivating the future. Yeah, and I like that. Let's look at this mystery card with our big red ant. I'm thinking Magician. If you have a guess, right, put it in the comments down below. Let's see. Well, it's the Chariot. Okay. The Chariot is the idea of we're always moving. Okay. And I think that this is also a reminder that sometimes we've got to slow down and enjoy the scenery, but we're never really getting out of the car. We're never just sort of abandoning our path and saying, I don't care about life anymore, you know. And sometimes we do say that. Sometimes we just completely give up. And we have no ambition. We have no desire to improve or change or to literally do anything. This is a card that has a commitment and a loyalty and a devotion to a higher principle. This is kind of the Knight now. This is, let's say, this is just a Knight that has a lot of fire. Very excited to be a Knight. This is a Knight that then has this eternal quest. And if we look at our life as this magical story, this myth, you know, this magical myth of life, then even as we get older and older and older and older and more tired and all this stuff, we're always going to feel like life is still a mystery. I still have a very important quest that I'm on, and it keeps us going. It keeps us engaged. It keeps us loving our lives and feeling the mystery and the magic of life. So let's be sure not to lose that. Yeah. and let's keep going forward. I think this is going to be an absolutely wonderful experience for you. We're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there is a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Aries Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and leave a comment to let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.